Today, we are going to completely shatter the illusion of fake freedom and dive into the brutal, unfiltered reality of what true, uncompromising self-discipline actually demands from you. Look, if you're hunting for comfortable, easy shortcuts, I'll be honest, this probably isn't for you. But if you really want to unpack the profound psychology behind top-tier success, well, you are exactly in the right place. So let's just jump right into it.
You know, we all walk around thinking we're completely free. But let's stop and ask a genuinely dangerous question. Is giving in to every single impulse actually freedom? Or is it just a hidden, comfortable form of slavery? Because if your definition of liberty is waking up at noon, eating whatever junk is in the fridge, and scrolling endlessly, you might actually be trapped in a cage you can't even see.
Section 1. The illusion of freedom. Let's introduce a highly relatable character. We'll call him Mr. OC, or Mr. Overconfident. He's that naturally talented guy who's convinced that having absolutely zero structure in his day means he's a free spirit. He wakes up super late, maybe snaps at his family, and spends hours doom scrolling. And the crazy part? He convinces himself he's researching time management when he's literally just obsessing over celebrity gossip. He thinks he's free simply because no boss is forcing him to work. But the harsh truth? He is completely shackled by his own daily impulses. True freedom, the kind that actually builds empires, only comes from strict, unyielding self-discipline.
Now, a massive reason we fall into this trap is something called analysis paralysis. We just overconsume content until we're totally numb. You see a massive 5-core mansion online, and instead of feeling that fire in your gut to go out and build it yourself, your brain just goes, well, I've seen it now. An average life is fine. By overanalyzing and taking absolutely zero action, you quietly, almost silently, assassinate your own ambition.
Let's move to Section 2, the 2 ultimate drivers. So what is the raw, unvarnished fuel that actually propels the top 0.01% of achievers? Well, the foundational steps to elite discipline are twofold. Step 1 is uncovering your why, and I mean a deeply rooted purpose, way beyond surface-level flexes like buying a flashy watch. But step 2, this is the secret weapon, pain-based motivation. Sure, aiming to earn 10 crore is great, but the absolute stomach-churning dread of being stuck in a toxic environment forever or being peer-pressured into bad habits, that primal fear of remaining totally average is actually a far stronger fuel than just chasing a shiny reward.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Those 2 emotional drivers alone, they still aren't enough. It's when you take extreme urgency and relentless consistency and add them to the mix, that is when you create an absolutely unstoppable engine. It is not just about knowing what you want in life. It's about acting like your literal life depends on it today, and then waking up and doing the whole shebang all over again tomorrow.
Section 3. Controlling the inner devil. We need to talk about the ultimate enemy, and it's living right inside your own head. Think of this evolutionary mechanism as the devil. And no, this isn't some mystical creature, it's just the primitive lizard part of your brain that is hardwired to keep you alive by hoarding energy. This inner devil thrives on compromise. It's that little nagging voice whispering, hey, you've worked really hard today, just skip the workout, go take a nap. Because to this part of your brain, stress literally equals death, meaning strict, non-negotiable impulse control is your only real weapon against it.
Jeff Bezos actually hit the nail on the head with this brutal reality. He points out that true stress doesn't come from working hard, not at all. It comes from the suffocating, heavy mental burden of ignoring the hard work you absolutely know you should be doing. When tasks start piling up and you choose the couch over your desk, that invisible, compounding pressure, that is what actually breaks you.
And hey, this isn't just modern Silicon Valley business theory, right? This is profound ancient wisdom. As this quote inspired by Sri Krishna reminds us, if you fail to conquer your own senses and impulses, your mind will forever enslave you. You'll just be yanked around in 100 different directions by whatever feels good in the next 5 seconds. And if you're living like that, God-tier focus is completely impossible.
Section 4. The Conqueror's Mindset.
So how do you permanently defeat this inner devil? You have to fundamentally upgrade your mental reference points. You need to completely clear out the average influencers in your daily feed and replace them with legendary historical titans. We are talking about Alexander the Great, Emperor Ashoka, Steve Jobs, Ratan Tata, Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, if your heroes are average, your actions are going to be average. You have to elevate your personal standards so high that these absolute legends essentially become your mental board of directors every single day. And what you really need to take away from this is that true conquerors operate on a completely different frequency than the rest of us. They don't constantly seek out vacations to run away from their lives. Champions literally have no off button. Even when they're resting, their subconscious is fully locked on to making their vision a reality. They don't look at their work as some miserable prison they need to escape from. It is their magnificent obsession.
Section 5. Paying the ultimate price. Let's look at this through a really brutal financial lens. If you want to drive a Lamborghini, you must pay the non-negotiable price of 5 crore plus tax, period. There are no easy EMIs for greatness. There are absolutely no discount codes. Nature operates on a very strict law of equivalent exchange. You pay in full and you pay in advance through pure, unadulterated sacrifice.
You simply cannot live an average life, sleeping in, eating whatever junk food you crave, desperately trying to please everybody around you, and then expect to magically achieve exceptional results. It defies the very laws of nature. Nature demands a massive, equivalent exchange to forge legends. Icons like Virat Kohli or MS Dhoni, they didn't get to the top by eating aloo parathas every morning and seeking constant comfort. No way. They pay the ultimate price through decades of intense solitude and unwavering discipline.
Which brings us to Section 6, beating the 3 daily obstacles.
As you finally cross the threshold into this God mode mindset, you are inevitably going to face 3 final dragons, 3 final bosses that will try to break you down every single day. First, the crushing, almost deafening silence of boredom. Second, the endless, totally unsexy loop of repetition. And third, the stinging fear of judgment. So how exactly do you defeat them? Well, first, you have to find luxury in those quiet routines. You have to literally turn boredom into your superpower. Second, you must trust the massive, invisible compounding math of doing the boring work. Whether that's making 5,000 sales calls or committing to reading every single day, repetition is exactly where the magic lives. And third, you have to completely ignore the mockery of average people. Because when you start rising, they are for sure gonna mock you. Why? Because your newfound discipline directly threatens their fragile egos. Just let their judgment evaporate.
So we've walked through the illusion of freedom, the hidden traps inside your own mind, and the massive, non-negotiable sacrifices required to actually excel. You now know the brutal reality of what it takes to completely shatter your invisible chains and achieve true God mode focus. The entire blueprint is laid out right in front of you. So the only real question left to answer is this. Are you finally ready to pay the price, or are you just going to go back to sleep? Take a really hard look in the mirror today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep thriving out there.